For the people who are here, let's just go ahead and I'll take you through what the deal is, because we are starting the independent movie school project thing today. Obviously talking about different ways that it might look different, and showing you a couple of different examples of like what some people were doing with COVID online things. And part of me thought for a while, oh, we could make it an independent, independent. I still think that there's value in having you collaborate with other people. So let me walk you through the little handout. And then some of it, I'm actually really open to any cool ideas that you have. Because yeah, this has been really on my mind in terms of like, how do we take something that before was so dependent on people physically being in the same place and being able to collaborate physically, and then change it to this entirely different online environment. But so let's start out with the little things. These used to be about 5 minutes long. Given that watching a bunch of those 1 minute films and how good they are, and also I'm scaling it down to about 3 minutes. We'll see even if that's doable. I mean, we could also, we can explore as you start doing some of the stuff, whether or not that's a realistic amount of stuff. Okay, so you may use any idea for your short film as long as it's appropriate for class and will work within our constraints. It's due now. Fun fact, I was having a wonderful chat with Carrie Kushel, and she was like, yeah, after this week, we have 5 class periods with you guys. And I was like, ugh! So it is also, yeah, a little bit constrained. But so today's Thursday. Between now and next Thursday, I think it'd be, yes, you having a story. So that would make Monday, like I would be here, but some groupie time and then work time, and just like having a chance to compose a story. It was figure out what kind of story you would like to tell with 2 other partners. And then depending on how that goes, plotting out some storyboards and then doing the filming. As far as like little requirements, there's always a super sneaky thing that needs to fit in, that needs to like sneak its way into any of the films. And so those are Sawyer Lee, Shoelace, and Not My First Choice. Line of dialogue that gets snuck in there someplace, an object that gets snuck in there someplace, and then the name that gets snuck in there someplace, just because it's like, think of it as creating your own little Easter eggs. Okay. Then requirements of making sure that we have an opening, either the opening title card, the opening, this is the name of the movie, starring, produced by, whatever. Or if you do one of the like funky little teaser scenes where there's an opening scene, then that there's still a moment where the name of your film shows up on the little on the screen somewhere. All right, at the end, having your cast. And any special thanks, any music there. YouTube has a YouTube has a list of like copyright free music right in the little thing. I'm not so worried about copyright strikes because everything is going to be super short. If you do use music from somebody else, it does need to be less than 30 seconds, although the fact that you're totally covered under fair use is kind of a myth. Anyway, once again, I like to over-explain things before we actually get to the whole picture. All right, a list of different types of shots that I'd like to see represented in your short film, and then like having decent sound. Now, the job thing, when you could be in groups up to 4, is a little bit different than, and the only reason I'm breaking it down to like 1 to 3 is that wrangling people and being able to, FaceTime each other or do whatever, whether or not you're on, Zoom or doing a live something something. But they're a person who, the writers actually, since you can do Google Docs, and I'm trying to come up with a template in Google that like gives you the little tabs, or that at the very least looks like you would want it to look like in Google Docs. Somebody drawing up, or even drawing up, designing the storyboard boxes, like if there are people who are in charge of, you know, the first 5 and then the second chunk and then the next chunk, that's totally fine with me if they don't all get handed in one big old hoopla. Although on the other hand, you know, people could email their contributions to somebody and then be able to hand that in as a clump. Obviously, I'm not sure whether or not taking time to make a poster is going to be a good use of your time and resources. That's one of the things that I've been trying to figure out. Okay, now this is the whole thing on appropriate, you know, no drug or alcohol use, things that are PG-13, judicious use of language, no sexually suggested situations. Since this is going to be living on the internet, you know, you want to represent yourself well. The fun and exciting thing is, like, these can be any type of film. You can go for a genre, but it doesn't have to be a genre film. It can be serious, it can be funny. You're going to have, it's going to be, with shortening it a little bit, it's going to kind of change. You're going to be looking or making films that make an impression, that don't necessarily have to get into somebody's big backstory. If we use Google Drive and like shared folders so that you guys are able to if you want to go over and it's not overwhelming, I think that that's okay with me. I will let you pick your groups 100%. I don't know whether it's better to have a just a Google sheet where you guys write in your stuff. I guess I might as well. Yeah, okay, I'll do that. We used to hand out a little thing, and basically I'll make a Google Doc version. This is the shortened version of the storyboards that you're going to do for your indie class. It's not as much filling out of information, but it's still a chance to write those little things out. We'll still have a live class on Monday, but it'll be more about like checking in and seeing if everybody has signed up for a group and seeing if people have an idea for a story, so that you have a story and then can be on the way to starting filming. Does that sound good? I've been like in the back of my mind trying to figure out how this is going to work for like the last 3 weeks. And then I was like, well, we'll find out how it works. But I think it's like we'll find out how it works. If you want to work out by yourself, you're welcome to do that. And I can work with you about like having a scaled down version. Does that make sense? You know how I'm really super great at making concrete decisions. Anyway, and then we had an awesome speaker to faculty talk about like how right now with like the things that everybody is on their way through in our little emergency, okay, all right, scenario that we're kind of in, that decision making is even harder. And I'm like, oh yes, I feel that. Okay, so between now and Monday, I'd like you to sign up. Any questions, which I'm sure there are many because I have them myself, but any questions that I might be able to answer? Enjoy your virtual breakfast with all of the alums tomorrow. And then let's start making some movies. Sound good? Okay.